Welcome to Outside Views. Today we're diving into an issue that cuts to the heart of the ongoing challenges in EU-UK relations. The proposal for youth mobility scheme is part of the so-called Brexit reset. This topic is not just about policy, it's about the future opportunities for young people, the labour market, and the wider relationship between the United Kingdom and the European Union. It highlights the crossroads at which the UK finds itself in 2025, navigating the post-Brexit landscape under new leadership and mounting pressure from Brussels. The question of youth mobility is new, but its re-emergence as a key demand from the EU signifies a broader shift in the relationship between the two sides. This proposal is central to Brussels' vision for resetting ties, and it reflects the need for greater cooperation on issues that transcend borders. But it also highlights the lingering tensions and contradictions of Brexit, a decision that was and remains deeply divisive. To fully understand what's at stake, let's take a step back and examine how we arrived at this point. When the UK voted to leave the EU in 2016, one of the most contentious issues was freedom of movement. For many Leave voters, ending free movement was a non-negotiable demand there. It was framed as a way to regain control of the UK's borders, reduce immigration and protect British jobs. On the other hand, for those of us who oppose Brexit, freedom of movement symbolized opportunity and ability for young people to study, work and live across Europe without restrictions. The consequences of ending free movement has been far-reaching. Industries reliant on EU workers such as hospitality, healthcare and agriculture have struggled with labour shortages. And students and young professionals have faced barriers to accessing opportunities that were once just taken for granted. And the UK's global reputation as an open and dynamic place has suffered in the eyes of many. Fast forward to today, and the EU is pushing for a youth mobility scheme that would allow 18 to 35-year-olds to live and work freely between the UK and the EU member states for up to 2 years. And this kind of reciprocal arrangement is already in place with countries like Australia, Japan and Canada, and it has proven to be mutually beneficial. It fosters cultural exchange, enhances professional development, and strengthens diplomatic ties. For Brussels, the youth mobility scheme is about more than just practicalities. It's a symbol of renewed partnership and a way to rebuild trust after years of acrimony. For the UK, however, the proposal poses significant political challenges. Prime Minister Keir Starmer has been clear about his intention to make Brexit work by renegotiating the trade deal brokered by Boris Johnson. But renegotiation won't happen. And he also committed to fostering closer cooperation with the EU on key issues like security, trade and climate change. But when it comes to freedom of movement, even in this limited form, Downing Street has been resistant. Starmer has repeatedly stated that the UK will not rejoin the EU or restore freedom of movement within his lifetime. And this stance reflects the delicate balancing act Starmer faces as he tries to navigate the post-Brexit political landscape. On one hand, there's a growing recognition, both within the Labour Party and among the public, that closer ties with the EU are essential for addressing the UK's economic and social challenges. On the other hand, Starmer is keenly aware of the need to avoid alienating Leave voters, many of whom supported Labour in the last general election. Public opinion on this issue is shifting indeed. I talked about this week already. Recent polls indicate that a majority of British voters, including 54% of those who supported Brexit in 2016, would now accept free movement in exchange for greater access to the EU single market. And this marks a significant departure from the sentiments that fueled the Leave campaign. It also suggests that the realities of Brexit are prompting many to reconsider their views. But the government's reluctance to embrace a youth mobility scheme is not just about public opinion. It's also about the broader political implications. Agreeing to this proposal would require the UK to make concessions that could be perceived as a rollback of Brexit. It would also invite criticism from hardline Brexiteers who view any form of free movement as a betrayal of the referendum result. And for Brussels, the youth mobility scheme is just one piece of a larger puzzle. The upcoming EU-UK summit in early 2025 is expected to address a range of issues, including the UK's potential re-entry into the Erasmus student exchange programme and a proposed security pact. And these discussions are part of what Miguel Berger, the German ambassador to the UK, has described as a broader reset in EU-UK relations. Berger has made it clear that the EU sees these initiatives as essential for fostering closer cooperation and addressing shared challenges. The Erasmus programme in particular has been a sore point since the UK opted out of it during the Brexit negotiations. Erasmus was more than just a student exchange program. It was a symbol of European solidarity and integration. For many young people, losing access to Erasmus felt like losing a part of their identity as Europeans. Rejoining the program would be a significant step towards rebuilding those connections. As the summit approaches, the stakes are high. For the EU, this is an opportunity to reaffirm its commitment to partnership and inclusivity. For the UK, it's a chance to demonstrate that it can engage constructively with its closest neighbours. But there are risks involved. If the UK rejects the youth mobility scheme outright, it could deepen the divisions between the two sides and undermine the progress made in recent months. On the other hand, agreeing to the proposal could spark backlash from those who see it as a concession too far. So, this is a pivotal moment in EU-UK relations. The decisions made in the coming months will shape the future of this partnership and determine whether the Brexit reset can deliver meaningful results. For young people, businesses and communities on both sides of the channel, the stakes couldn't be higher. So, where do we go from here? Is it possible for the UK to embrace a youth mobility scheme without compromising its sovereignty? Can the government balance the need for cooperation with the demands of its political base? And what does this debate tell us about the broader trajectory of Brexit and its aftermath? These are the questions that we must grapple with as we navigate this complex and uncertain landscape. So thank you for joining me today on Outside Views again, and if you found this discussion insightful, let me know your thoughts in the comments below the video. Do you believe the UK should agree to a youth mobility scheme, or is the government right to hold its ground? And if you haven't already, check out my earlier videos on Brexit, it's just a few thousand, and its consequences for more in-depth analysis. I'll see you next time with more stories that matter. Until then, take care, and the next video is right here in the end screen.